Previously on Unscripted.
January resolutions are usually made to be broken. The biggest resolution every New Year's is I'm going to get physically fit and go to the gym.
And that's why I say every year that I'm not going to the gym, because I know I can keep that one.
You're a man of your word.
You're listening to Unscripted with Skip Sherman and Josh Obadia.
Okay, Skip, so today we're going to talk about the Crave series called Heated Rivalry. And for those in the United States, you get that on HBO. But before we get to that, I have another What's Bugging Me or What Bugs Me.
Things that bug me?
Let's hear it.
And remember, you said you're keeping track of these to see if there's a solution to these.
I started a Google Sheet. I'll share it with you.
So tell me if there's a solution to this one. And this has been going on for a few years, but I have not talked about it on this show, and I haven't talked to you about it at all, I don't think. What bugs me is these crazy expensive hockey sticks that break all the time at inopportune moments during a hockey game.
There's really like a bit of an epidemic this year of this. Like, I don't know if it's just luck or weird circumstance, but I mean, look, I'm only watching the Montreal Canadiens daily, and there's so many sticks that are breaking. And like you say, it's about inopportune times because it's always when there are guys about to take a slap shot, right? So,
I mean, think about it. Like, I've seen this happen. You know, let's say your defenseman is about to take a shot or takes the shot, his stick breaks, so the opposing player just takes the puck and goes on a breakaway and scores. It's a game changer. Teams have lost games because of this.
There's a game this year, early season, where the Canadiens had two players with broken sticks on the same shift, right? So you're done.
And
right?
The thing is, the sticks are like $500. And I understand why they use the sticks because of the flex is so good and they can take harder shots. But you would think that when you're spending $500 on a stick, it could last you at least a full game. But it doesn't.
Let's be clear. Like, I don't think the NHL players pay for their sticks.
Oh, no. I know they don't pay for it, and it's not a money thing. But 25 or 30 years ago, you could get a stick for $25 at Canadian Tire, and it could last you the whole season. Now, it's heavier and you can't get as hard a shot with it maybe, but I mean, $25 compared to $500?
What was your stick of choice when you were buying them at Canadian Tire? Coho?
No, it was the Mike Bossy Titan stick.
Titan. Nice. I like that.
And then I switched to the Wayne Gretzky Titan stick.
Yeah, and you know my favorite hockey stick of all time is when they came out with those aluminum sticks. Like, that doesn't exist anymore because now it's all this polymer stuff and
right.
lightweight.
Well, those you had to attach the blade, and then if the blade broke, you could just keep the shaft and just get a new blade. I have one of those actually.
Remember when Wayne Gretzky had the silver one? It was so nice,
and it glistened.
It was so nice.
So yeah, I mean, this happened, by the way. This broken stick thing. It happened in the Olympics just a few days ago.
Oh, several times. Like, I saw more than once. Yeah.
Yeah.
What can you do? Like, look, so what is the solution? I'll have to think about it. I don't know what the solution is.
Okay, well, add it to your Google Sheet.
Nothing's going to change at the NHL level unless players complain about it, right? So, like, if I'm, like, Lane Hudson or whoever, like, let's say whatever player you are, and you've had your stick, you have a stick contract. All the players have, like, stick contracts with whatever company, and then the stick I'm using breaks 5 times, then you're going to go back to these company and say, hey, your sticks suck. Like, I don't want to use your sticks anymore unless you fix them, right? Like, so I think that might be the solution. It's like accountability, the good old accountability that there is not a lot of today.
So that, and the other thing is maybe get a stick with a little less flex, but that will last you at least a whole game.
I agree.
Anyway, this bugs me. Every time it happens, it bugs the hell out of me.
It's really bad. Because they're so expensive. They shouldn't be breaking so often.
So, Skip, do we have any listener mail?
Mailbag.
We have one listener mail, our good friend Mark from Philadelphia, and it ties exactly into our, since the beginning of the year now, your What Bugs Me's at the beginning of each episode.
I'm excited to hear this.
We should take all the What Bugs Me, like we me and you, we should take all the What Bugs Me's, then make a March Madness style turning bracket to see which What Bugs Me comes out on top.
That is a great idea, except that we would need 64 of them.
Yeah.
That could take years.
So Mark's math, I don't get it. He suggested that we should do this in time for March Madness, which is in 2 weeks. So we'll only have 4 by then. But I don't know how he somehow had some...
Unless we go back to all the old ones from the past 3 or 4 or how many years we've been doing this. How many years have we been doing this? 8 years?
I think November 2016.
So like 10 years almost.
Yeah.
So if we go back and take all the old ones, then we can maybe do it.
Yeah. But I think what we should do is at the end of this year, towards the end, maybe right before our season-ending episodes, we'll do a What Bugs Me compilation episode where we will rank them and we'll do something with that.
Also,
right?
we could add that to our end-of-year best-of episode. Like, what was the best What Bugs Me?
Yeah, that's right. That's a category for our... Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, my God. Production call on a podcast episode. That's the way it should be all the time.
The listeners are getting a behind-the-scenes look of how we produce this show.
There's not much to it.
Okay, we'll be right back after this to talk about heated rivalry.
You're listening to Unscripted.
I'm Joseph DeMedictis.
And I'm Ross Acetrullo.
And we're doing this podcast so we don't have to go home and get a real job.
Exactly.
That's right. And we're doing it to tell you about our pursuit of the dreams we've had since being a kid, being young, trying to get into the entertainment industry. Us, we're mid-career, sort of. We're kind of halfway broken in a way, but we both have these big dreams and big goals.
Aspirations, really.
For our careers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. This podcast is about the journey through the industry, trying to make it, but trying not to have to give up.
So listen to our podcast on all the places you might listen to a podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We have our own YouTube channel where you can watch the video version. All the links can be found at you'llnevermakeit.ca. Here's hoping we do.
And now, back to Unscripted.
Okay, Skip, we're back.
All right, so today we are finally going to talk about the Crave HBO series Heated Rivalry. I don't want to say controversial because I don't think it's controversial, but it's extremely popular. This is a show that produced in Canada, made by Crave, got picked up by HBO, and just went wild. And it's like took over like the social like fabric of like the two countries here, like of North America. Like everybody was talking about it. It was like, and it's so funny because I saw the commercials for this so many times before it aired, and I'm like, I'm not gonna watch this. Like, who's gonna watch this? Like, it just seemed like a bad show, you know? And then next thing you know, everybody's watching it. And then of course we had a group chat with our friends and are you going to watch this? Are you not going to watch this? And then you told me you already did. So I'm like, okay, I'm behind now. I gotta get going. Look, it's an easy watch. It's only 6 episodes. You could watch it like in a jiff.
In a week.
Yeah, I watched it like in 2 or 3 days. It was done. But so we finally said we're going to discuss the pros, the cons, what we liked, what we didn't like. And actually, because I knew we were doing an episode on this, I actually took notes per episode. I have a chronological notes. I don't know if you have the same, but like I can go like in order.
So I don't have notes, but before I watched it, I had some friends, or at least one friend, who never watches hockey, never talks about hockey, has zero interest in hockey, texting me and telling me how much he loves this show. This is before I watched it. And I'm like, since when do you like hockey? And he said, this show has nothing to do with hockey, is what he told me.
I wouldn't say that. Hockey is there. It's central to the plot, but really it's the story of, it's kind of a love story or between these two players. And actually there's another side story too with the player from the New York team. And
right.
I started to watch the show and it's terrible. I was like, this is terrible. Like the first 2 episodes, I was like, why do people like this so much? Like, what's going on? And then I texted you saying, like, this show's not really good. And you're like, if you can get through the first 2 episodes, it gets better. And you were right. Because episode 3 kind of saved the show. It's a whole other... Episode 3 is a whole new story. It's characters
episode 3 is completely different.
It's a whole other story. It's new characters, new everything. Like, the 2 main characters are not even in episode 3. And then you have 4, 5, 6, which ramps up the really good part of the show, and I think 4, 5, 6 are great episodes, and actually makes the show a really good show. This is what I wanted to say, is that if you look up about your friend that said they never watch hockey and all this, if you go to like the websites that give ratings of shows and fan reviews and all this,
Rotten Tomatoes,
IMDb, whatever, the Rotten Tomatoes score of this show is off the charts. It's like one of the highest rated shows that they've ever had on their site. Same thing with IMDb, other sites. And then I read the reviews, the comments, and you can see who's writing this. These are very like pro LGBTQ people, you know, and people finally are feeling like they have a show that represents them, and the message is so strong, and it is great. It's really incredible. So like, I feel like this show spoke to a whole subset of people that are like, finally there's a show that like is speaking to us in our way, you know, to this group of marginalized people. And like, the reviews are like, it's crazy. Like, people are saying it's the greatest show they've ever seen. It's not the greatest show they've ever seen. Like, let's be serious. Like, this is not a great show.
It's not the first LGBTQ show, you know, that I've seen before that exists.
I agree. It is the first one that...
It's the first one involving hockey or sports.
Yes, and the first one that has... We have, obviously, we're going to talk about this much explicit sex scenes.
That's true. There was a show on Netflix with Neil Patrick Harris a few years ago, where he plays a gay guy and he's got a boyfriend, or actually I think he has a husband, and then they break up and he meets a new guy. I forget what it's called. It was a good show. Now there wasn't. I don't think there was any nudity in it, but yeah.
I mean, no, there's been other shows, right? Like, there's been, but like. The thing with this show is the amount of sex in every episode, and explicit, and like, it really, like, at one point I'm like, do they really have to show this much sex? Like, it doesn't need to be this much, but maybe it did. Maybe all the sex is what caught the attention of people, right? Like, it's what gave it like this wow factor, or this controversialness that put it in the top of the headlines, right? Like, maybe that's what they were going for. Let's get noticed, right? It worked, but like, there's too much. Honestly, there's too much.
Some people say there's not enough.
Even Josh, you can't name a show heterosexual sex that has this much sex. Boy, girl, there's not.
Well, maybe was Sex in the City like that? I don't know.
Not this much.
No, you're right. It wasn't. It wasn't this much.
There's not this much. And like, the only shows that are like this much are like softcore porn that we used to watch on Bleu Nuit at 12 o'clock at midnight, right? Like, that's the only other shows that have that amount of nudity and sex. Like, this is not a normal thing to see for, never mind it's gay sex. So like, that's really not, we haven't seen a lot of that. But yeah, like, I was like, at one point I was like, I don't think they need to have that much, but that's what they did. So that's what they did.
So the reason I wanted to watch the show, a couple of reasons. First of all, it involves hockey, and I wanted to see how realistic the hockey scenes were, because, you know, anytime you watch a sports show or a sports movie, if you know about sports and they don't portray the sports realistically, then that just ruins the movie for me, or ruins the TV show for me.
The thing with this show is there's not a lot of actual hockey scenes on
correct.
ice.
And that's one thing I was disappointed, that there was much less hockey than I thought there would be, because in the promos, there's tons of hockey.
Because they show you the same clip over and over. But I saw interviews with the 2 actors. They barely both can skate.
Right. They both learned how to skate just for this.
Right. They never played hockey. They don't know how to skate. The one guy, Rosanov, he's from Texas. Like, you know what I mean? Like, So
By the way, he didn't know how to speak Russian before this either. So the fact that he was able to learn how to skate and speak Russian is quite amazing.
the Russian is insane that he didn't know. Like, that's crazy, because one of the best scenes of the whole show, now we're going to start jumping around, but like one of the best scenes in the whole show is when he goes back to Russia. His father dies, right?
Yeah.
And he has a phone call with Shane,
Yes.
and Shane tells him, just speak to me in Russian. I won't understand. Just spill your guts, right?
Yeah.
And he goes into this whole thing in Russian, and then he tells him in Russian, I love you, but like Shane doesn't know.
Right.
And that's like one of the best scenes of the show. Yeah.
It is, especially considering Ilya, the whole time when he does talk to Shane in English,
Yeah.
he comes off as this like, he doesn't love him. It's just sex for him,
Yeah, I know.
and it's meaningless for him.
Well, that's part of the story, right? It starts off as like hockey friends with benefits, or hockey rivals with benefits, I would say. And then by the time we get to episode 5 and 4, 5 and 6, it's we're getting to like a real love story with, where they do care about each other. And then obviously by the time we get to the end, it's clear. But yeah, I mean, the thing with the hockey is, I wrote notes about the hockey part, if you want to, since you brought it up. So first of all, my first thought is this based on Crosby and Ovechkin? Was this not that Crosby and Ovechkin are gay and not anything like this, but like the first scene, I'm like, oh, they're meeting at the World Juniors and then they're rivals in the NHL. Like, was that? I wonder if that's the inspiration for these two players. One's Russian, one's Canadian. Whatever. We don't have to have an answer for that.
Let me just stop you for a sec. I didn't think that. I mean, you could be right, but I didn't think that. What I thought was because Hollander looks a little bit like Nick Suzuki.
He does, because he's supposed to, even in his character, he's supposed to be like, well, we meet his parents. He's half Asian, right?
Right. So,
yeah.
So that's what I was thinking the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good. I also gravitated towards Nick Suzuki because it seemed like similar. So they look, they're not allowed to use the NHL name, the NHL team names and all this. So they have the Montreal Metros and like they all have different team names and everything. But they do a good job of like doing the chronology of like what happens in the NHL. Like they start at the World Juniors, then they're in the NHL, and then they even tell you that they're in the pros, and then they even show you that there's the awards that happen in Las Vegas.
You forgot about the draft.
The draft, right? So exactly, the draft, the NHL, but then they go ahead.
Hold on. I thought they went too fast. Like they fast forwarded through so much stuff. Like the whole thing is 6 episodes, and it's like 8 years or something. Like, I thought they went too fast. That was my one complaint.
It's way too fast, especially the first 2 episodes. Way too fast. It's going like 8 years. Like, it's like they're in the World Juniors, they're drafted, they're back in the World Juniors, they're in the NHL, they're in there, and then they win the cup, and then they win the cup again,
Happens
and then
in
they go
like
to
the first 15 minutes of episode 1.
Yeah, and then they go to the Olympics, and then like there's all this stuff that happens, right? But they do a good job of showing you like all the things that happen in like a hockey player's career. The NHL awards, they're in Las Vegas. The Olympics actually were in the city. It was in Sochi, right? Like they didn't hide that. And then the one thing that didn't make sense, and this is super nitpicky about hockey, okay? Like, and I don't know, you're going to agree with me, but I don't know if you thought of this. So they are obviously the 2 biggest superstars. They're in the World Juniors and they play against each other, and then they're drafted, right?
Were they drafted before or after? That's the question.
Well, they were drafted after the World Junior, but then they went back to the World Junior again. And
yeah,
then,
that wouldn't have happened.
And then they went to the NHL. That would not have happened. It happens to normal players that get drafted in the way down. But if you are drafted first and second pick like these guys were, and they've made a point of showing us that these guys were the elite and they were superstars and they're the next big things, those guys would have gone straight to the NHL. They would not have gone back to junior hockey.
Now,
right?
I'm assuming, because when they have these types of shows, I'm assuming they had a hockey consultant telling them like, yes, this is possible. No, this is not possible. Things like that.
Maybe.
So I'm assuming, I hope they had one of those.
Well, I mean, everything we know about this show is that it's super low budget. You can see in the production, it's pretty low budget. Season 2 obviously is going to happen, and they're going to probably have this huge budget. The show might not look the same at all, you know? Like, it could be visually, like, it might not look the same. So,
Speaking of low budget, the whole thing was filmed apparently in 37 days.
yeah, and it's only filmed in Toronto, even though, like, most of it takes place, none of it takes place in Toronto.
Right.
It takes
it's
place
either
in
Montreal or Boston.
or New York.
Right, or New York. But yes, apparently it was
Las
all
Vegas.
filmed in Toronto.
Las Vegas for the awards and whatnot. But most of it's Montreal, right? So here's my notes. Episode 1, it's too fast. Like you said, Rosanov is really, really funny. Like, I just find he's really, really funny. You know, I wrote down the line that he said because Shane says to him, while they're in bed, he says to him, I have a dildo. And then Rosanov says, what color?
I don't even remember that.
So then the thing is, this thing happened so fast and everything was moving so fast, I didn't even realize what year it was in. Right?
Yeah, same with me, yes.
Because season 2 starts and it says it's 2011. And I'm like, it's 2011? Like, what are you saying? Like, I didn't understand. Like, I thought it was present day.
Fast forwarded through so much stuff.
No, but even the first scene when you're like Ilya Rosanov and Shane Hollander and they're at the World Junior, I thought it was now. I thought it was present day.
Oh no, I think that first scene is 2008. I think in season 1. I think, but yes, I know what
crazy.
you mean.
Yeah. So like and then I was like, it's 2011. I couldn't believe it, and I'm like, okay, but how are they making it look like 2011? And then sure enough, they have BlackBerries.
That's right. Yes.
Like they have BlackBerries, and as the show goes, I was really, really paying attention to what phones they were using, because then he had an iPhone, but it was like the first iPhones, right? And then like
small
eventually
one, yeah.
they have better ones. So my only comment about episode 2 is this show all sex? Is there even a story? Like, this is where I was at the end of episode 2. Aside from my wife saying about Rosanov, his butt is so round.
Okay.
So episode 3 starts, and we have a brand new story with Scott Hunter, the captain of the New York Rangers, and Kip, the guy who works at the coffee shop. This kind of saved the show for me because the story was really nice, but I felt like almost this whole show, all 6 episodes, could have been a movie.
Instead of 6 episodes. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah. So they really go into like the Kip and Scott origin story. And it's really good. I find it's really, really well done, right? Like I wrote, like, Hunter and Kip kind of saved the show for me. And their story at this point was better than Shane and Ilya's story. Like,
I agree. Yes. Yeah. I agree.
Then we get to episode 4, and we find out that Montreal won the Stanley Cup back-to-back.
So not realistic right there.
Right? They're still basically friends with benefits. And I wrote, has there ever been an NHL player that did as many TV commercials and print advertising as Shane Hollander? Like, this guy's in everything. Every time we see him, he's doing a commercial or an ad.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen Connor McDavid do a million commercials. You've even seen Connor Bedard do a million commercials. You know, and then we don't even see, like, you see Cole Caulfield doing commercials in Montreal, but you don't see what happens in, like, Winnipeg or Vancouver or Boston or New York. You know, you don't see those local commercials.
So my note on episode 4 is they showed them having sex 50 times. We get it! ! And I wrote, they finally had a conversation. Hollander's mom has a really good line in this episode. She says, because he was saying, like, Rolex was going to give him seats at Wimbledon, you know, this kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
he
then
didn't want to go.
Hollander's, he's like, just go and go without me, and I'll say I'm sick, and you guys could go. His parents could go. And then his mom says, I don't want you to lie. It's not who you are. That's a really good line on the show. Because he's lying about his whole existence, which is really sad, you know? And then he meets Rose, the movie star, who's filming in Montreal. So, like, the way I understood it is, like, she's in some kind of X-Men show.
I don't know what she was filming, but she was filming something. I don't know. Who is she supposed to be?
She's supposed to be like a famous Hollywood actress, basically, right?
Okay.
Who's filming this show in Montreal, like filming in Montreal. And actually, the reason why I thought of X-Men is all the X-Men shows were filmed in Montreal. Well, pretty much all of them, right?
Well, she is actually the actor is from Montreal.
Yes, she is. I looked her up,
She was born somewhere else, but she moved to Montreal when she was really young.
Right. So the notes I have here is I really like how Shane acts when he's around her. Like we saw Shane, like when he's everything we've seen of Shane up till this point is like he's just a super serious dude. Doesn't even like they make fun of him, you know, like he like folds all his clothes, he unpacks his clothes when he's on the road, all this stuff, you know, like he's very prim and proper.
Yeah.
But somehow when he's with Rose, we see like a good side of his personality, you know, he's joking with her. And like he's funny and he's sweet and charming and she likes him, you know, and he likes her, you know, like
she's the first person that he tells. I mean, he doesn't come out and say it, but
yeah,
she's the first person that he tells that he's gay.
Yeah. And then in episode 5, we find out like he didn't even need to tell her. She knew. She figured it out. You know?
Right.
She's like, she goes, you think I'm dumb? You know, like, and it's basically like I wrote Hollywood culture versus hockey culture. Hockey culture, which we're finding out and which we know is like you can't come out and you can't say that you're gay. But in Hollywood, she has her best friend who's basically coming on to him in the club, you know? Like, and like they do show Shane and Rose having sex and maybe she kind of figured it out, you know? Like, I don't know, you know? I don't know how that works. Rose wears a St-Viateur bagel t-shirt.
Oh, this is the first note that I wrote in my notes because it was my favorite scene of the entire show.
Yeah. Now, apparently, because she wore that St-Viateur bagel t-shirt, it's garnered a lot of attention. And these weird people that are super fans of this show are just like, we are going to go for vacation in Montreal and we're going to go to St-Viateur bagel because she wore the t-shirt. It's like, it's bizarre.
I'm sure the t-shirt sales have gone through the roof now.
There's a good scene because they go to the awards in Vegas again, and then we're starting to see like the softening of Rosanov. He's starting to become much more likable. You know, he goes swimming in the pool, and then he's playing with the kids, and you see like this really good side of him, you know, of Rosanov. And then he gets out of the pool and he tells Shane, "Give these kids some money. I don't have my wallet."
Yes. I remember
he's
that.
really,
that was funny.
he's really funny, you know, like, and then he tells Shane that he likes his glasses, and then finally we do see like Ilya stands up to his brother, and then the scene that I told you where he's speaking Russian into the phone, which is really like, for me, like one of the best scenes of the show, when he's speaking Russian and Shane doesn't understand a word. The injury is huge. Like when Shane gets injured and he's in the hospital, and then you really see how Rosanov's worried about him, and he goes to see him in the hospital, even though, you know, he's supposed to be his rival and they're supposed to hate each other. I think people are a bit confused, especially his parents, Shane's parents. Like, why did Rosanov come to see you? You know, type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then, well, obviously, when Kip comes onto the ice and kisses Scott Hunter after they won the Stanley Cup, this is like a big turning point in how they're able to, in all the characters, because it's like, okay, he's out now, right? So we don't know what it means for Scott Hunter's career, because we know from the episode 3 that Scott Hunter was very like protective of not letting anybody know about them, you know? But I guess now he figured he won the cup and he's probably going to retire soon, so who cares, right? Mm-hmm. And then actually the line of the show that's viral and it's everywhere is, well, you're smiling because you know what I'm going to say, is as soon as Scott Hunter and Kip are kissing, Rosanov calls Shane and is like, "I'm coming to the cottage."
Yeah. There's a few funny scenes at the cottage too.
Oh, the cottage. Well, now we're at the cottage. So like he does go to the cottage, and this is the real love story between Ilya and Shane, right? Like we're seeing them actually together for the first time. That's not just like a hookup on the road in their hotel room, right? And first of all, Shane's house is insane. I looked up where it is. Apparently now people are going there. It's in Muskoka.
Oh, okay.
It's like in the cottage country of Ontario, you know, and it's like a real house. It's someone's house, right?
Yeah, I guess they had to rent it from someone so they could use it for filming.
Yeah. So they have some great lines, and Ilya's funny and much more likable, and obviously the dad comes and sees them, and then he comes out to his parents, Shane does, and it's really, really, really good. And that's kind of where it ends, right?
So just let me back up a bit. It had nothing to do with the show really, but when they're at the cottage and all of a sudden you hear the loon, and Rosanov freaks out because he's never heard a loon in his life. and he thinks it's like a wolf or something.
He says to him, "Now you speak bird."
I thought that was funny. I thought that scene was funny.
They have a lot of great scenes in the cottage. Like, it's really great. It's just a great love story of these two people. So you never saw the movie. There's a movie called Love, Simon. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I don't think so. Doesn't ring a bell.
It's about a teen who's gay who comes out and to his friends and his parents.
Oh, I maybe did see it. Anyway.
Jennifer Garner's his mom in the
Okay.
show. And like when he comes out to his mom, like in that movie, it's absolutely incredible. Like Jennifer Garner's, what she tells him in that movie, it's incredible. It's like the perfect reaction. It's like Shane doesn't know how to tell his parents. Like he doesn't know how. He doesn't know how they're gonna react. He doesn't know what they're gonna say. And of course we shouldn't say of course, because we know this is not true. So we know that his fear of telling them is real, because you've heard other stories where parents are just like, we don't want to know you anymore. Like, get out, But of course, in Hollywood, like the mom accepts him and the reaction's really positive, and she tells him like the mom's reaction and what she says to him is really quite perfect. It's like it's really perfect. But I think the show makes the show really portrays realistically how scared gay people are to come out, and it's like how big of a step it is, even to your own parents who love you the most, who should be understanding. Yeah.
So as I was watching the show, again, I was trying to imagine this happening in real life and tried to say to myself, could this happen in real life? Could this happen in real life? For everything that happened.
Yeah.
And so like, they would meet up sometimes when they were on the road, or one of them was on the road.
Yeah.
The thing is, this day and age, if a famous hockey player or a famous person, is outside just randomly, there's going to be 1 million people with their phones taking pictures.
Yeah.
Like whether you like it or not. So I don't know, like when a famous person, when a team goes on the road, like for example, if Connor McDavid is playing against the Maple Leafs in Toronto, he goes to the rink, obviously, and he goes to the hotel. Does he do anything else? Because if he just goes to the store or to the restaurant, he's going to get mobbed.
Only in certain cities. Like, I think, when Connor McDavid goes to Columbus, I don't think a lot of people might know.
Correct. No
who he
one
is,
knows him in Columbus. You're right.
Yeah. But like in Montreal and Toronto and New York, well, even New York is so huge, right? Like, I don't know. I think NHL players can blend in.
So I was trying to because every time the player who was on the road would go, the player who was at home, I think, would go to the player's hotel. Is that how they met up? That, to me, that's risky, because the rest of your team is at the hotel. What are the chances that nobody sees that?
And they made a point of showing that it was a bit risky in terms of like when Rosanov was coming to Shane's like apartment, he was coming up by like the back stairs,
Right.
like a
going to
separate
the apartment
entrance.
is less risky than than the other player going to the hotel.
No, but even then, he wasn't even going through the front door.
Right.
You know
And,
what I mean?
and I wouldn't either, because, again, there's
Yeah.
cameras everywhere. So I was just trying to imagine if that could really happen. And then the other thing I was trying to imagine is, let's say there are two players who are gay who play on opposing teams.
Yeah.
And even if it's not a secret, but whether it is or isn't, could you have a relationship with someone where you love them and then you have to play against them, 12 hours later?
Yeah, it is weird. That part is difficult, but I think there's a lot of stuff in professional athletes' lives where they're able to put stuff aside. Like I think certain players are friends on other teams. Like let's say you're like best friends and you came up together and you were on the same team together, and then one gets traded. Now you have to play against each other. I think they're able to manage that. So
that is a little bit different though than being like husband and
in
husband.
love. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Not that they're
is.
married yet, but whatever. I'm just saying.
So the big question is like, will we see a professional athlete who is actually in their prime and potentially even a star come out as gay in our life?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
And there are probably, for all we know, half the players in the NHL might be gay.
Well, I mean, like if you want to do the math, and I did this with my daughter to prove a point to her, to explain it. How many players are in the NHL?
Like
600?
600, 700?
Yeah, let's say it's 600. You can look up statistically. There's stats that show anywhere between 2 and 4% of the male population in the world are gay. And most people think that that number is underrepresented because people
I'm sure
obviously
it's higher than that.
can't say. So even if it's 5%, right? So that's 30 people. That's 30 NHL players
Roughly one per team.
that should be gay, like statistically. We don't know of any. And not only do we not know of any now, we don't know of any ever. And we're talking about in the NHL. There are some players in other leagues that have come out. I think
Well, Michael Sam, the football player.
Michael Sam, and then the NBA, I think it was I forget his first name, Collins. But these are players that were like at the end of their career. They were like about to retire. Sam never really made it anywhere. Although he was the most courageous, Michael Sam, because he came out before his career even started. Like when he was just like drafted or graduated college, right? So he knew that if he makes the NFL, this gay label is going to be on him, right? And baseball, has there been? Like, I don't know off the top of my head.
There's two Billy Beans. One of them I think was gay.
Oh, not the GM of the A's, the other
Right.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, but again, like any player that's come out has usually been coming out like after their career was over,
Right.
or
It
when
wasn't
it was
during
almost
his playing
over.
days.
Yeah. So like I don't know. I just don't know. Like if anything, this show has pushed the possibility of a player coming out as like forward. It's made it more probable, I think, like this show has, which is an incredible thing to say, actually, right? Like a show could actually change that. But yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, what's the name of the player on the New York team? Scott something?
Scott Hunter. Yeah.
Scott Hunter. So when he came out in the show, like he was accepted and everything was fine. I don't know that it would be so accepting in real life because there's going to be those haters all the time.
100% there is. There's Josh, like the NHL tried to do gay pride night, right? All the players had to do, all they had to do was come out with a rainbow taped stick during warm-up. They didn't ask them to do a lot. That's all they had to do.
Yep.
The NHL had to cancel that as a league because certain players said, I will not participate in this. It's against my religion, supposedly, right? It was, what's his name? He used to be on the Flyers. Now he's on Columbus, was the main guy.
It's because he was afraid of what would happen to his family back in Russia if he did it. I'm not trying to give him an excuse.
Ivan Provorov is the guy's name.
Right.
Right.
And it wasn't just Russian guys. I think the Stahl brothers also refused to participate, I think.
Yeah. Look, everybody has their reason for not wanting to participate. And, you know, but like, they didn't have to do much, you know? They didn't have to do much. Even if they wanted to just come out and warm ups with their regular stick and just not make a statement, just don't say anything, just come out and do it. And if someone asks you after, you're like, well, I didn't really want to do that. You know, like you didn't have to like put it front and center, you know? So just the fact that the NHL can't even have a pride night tells you that, like what you're saying, like, would a gay player be accepted? Like, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, in Hollywood and in this show, like in TV land, it makes it, you know, everything seems great, right? But like, did Scott Hunter retire after he won the Stanley Cup? I think he did. Right?
I'm not sure. I thought he's still planning to play next season. I guess we'll find out in the next episode.
Right. Season 2, I guess, will tell us. But I guess season 2 is going to be about like Shane and Ilya's like this plan for him to sign with Ottawa.
Well, apparently the whole show is based on these books, plural,
Yeah.
which have
I saw
already
them.
been written. So if you really want to go ahead and read the books, you can find out what happens next.
Yeah, I know. I saw them at the bookstore. They're front and center, obviously, because people want to. It's really popular, right? It's the first thing you see when you go into chapters. It's those books. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's going to be like them having to like, and I'm putting this in air quotes, like sneak around and disguise their relationship during the next seasons or seasons.
Well, they even talked about how when Ilya becomes a free agent, he should sign with Ottawa because it's closer to Montreal and it'd be easier for them to get together.
Yeah, I mean, that's their plan, but we'll see what happens, right? So, what do you say overall? First of all, do you have anything more do you want to add? I mean, I'm kind of
Just this has nothing to do with the show, but we're recording this on the last day of February. It's a Saturday, and tonight, Connor Story, Ilya, is hosting SNL.
like these two actors who are nobodies are been vaulted into stardom, right?
Yeah, and I don't know, and maybe you know, but I don't know if they're actually gay in real life. I have no idea.
I asked my daughter about this.
I don't think anyone knows.
I don't know for sure. I think one of them has come out and said maybe they're bisexual, but I think that's Connor's story. And then Hollander, I forget the actor's name. He's like hasn't said anything, but like the scenes that they've done, I mean, how do you go audition for this show like and not be gay and be okay with it? You know,
I mean, either you're gay or you're a phenomenal actor.
Well, we know Rosanov's a phenomenal actor because just the Russian and alone. But like, yeah, you're right. I mean, you read for this show and you're like you know what you're getting into, you know? Like, you know what kind of scenes you're going to have to do.
Here's what I don't understand. On IMDb, there's sometimes
Yeah.
things I don't understand on IMDb.
Yeah.
The season is 6 episodes, and it tells you how many episodes each actor has been in.
Yeah.
But for Shane and Ilya, it says that they're in 7 episodes each. I think they're counting the first episode of next season, I think.
Well, that's crazy. There's only 6, so I don't know.
Exactly.
Well, we just jumped into the 6, 7, but any little kids listening are going to be like, oh, they
I
said
didn't
6,
even
7.
think of that before I said it. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
because on IMDb, they've already have episode 1 of season 2.
And when is it supposed to come out? You don't know.
2027.
Oh, good for us. Well, we'll
So-
do episode. We'll do that podcast when we watch season 2. So overall, did I like the show? Yes, I liked it a lot. I would recommend it. But when I say I would recommend it, you need to go in being prepared because the sex is explicit and it's not something that you've ever seen in your life. on
I'm
TV.
assuming you didn't watch this with your kids.
No, I watched it with my wife, and even that's uncomfortable. No, but my daughter watched the show, and she's the one that told us you guys should watch it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I like the show. Do I think it's a great show? No. Like, it's not, the storytelling is sloppy. The first 2 episodes are weirdly told. It's a little bit all over the place. But when it kicks in and gets to its core, which is like a bit of episode 3 and then mostly 4, 5, 6, it's really good. Like, I think it's really good. Like those the whole arc of, you know, leading up to you know, them being a real couple. So I would recommend the show.
Yeah, I liked it as well. I had, like, again, some minor quibbles, as I mentioned. So, you know, even a little thing like, you know, every time they show you what year it is or what date it is,
Yeah.
just the way they put that on the screen seemed a little bit, I don't know.
Like haphazard, like weird. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you did say it was very low budget, so it looked a little bit low budget.
So low, you know, like the creator of the show, I saw in an interview, said he shopped the show to American streaming services. He didn't say which ones, but you could presume it's Netflix, Prime, you know. I mean, I don't think Disney's
Disney.
going to show this, but whatever. I don't think Disney would put this, but
Well, Disney
maybe
does
Hulu.
put some.
But Hulu and Disney are associated. So he shopped it to American streaming services, and he was ready to do it. He was ready to produce a show for one of those services, but they wanted it to be much more tame, I think, sexually. Like they didn't want it to be what we saw, you know, like what we just saw. And so he said no, and he took it back to Crave, and they said yes, and he did the show that he wanted to do, which is exactly what we've seen. So
Good for him. Is it Jacob
Good for
Tierney?
him.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yes, that's exactly it. Jacob Tierney. Yeah.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good show. It's not the best show. I
No.
mean, I'll watch season 2.
Yeah.
You know, and I still am interested in the hockey, even though that really has very little to do with the show.
It's in the background. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly wasn't expecting that scene where the New York team wins the Stanley Cup, and then he asks Kip to come onto the ice. I wasn't expecting that.
No. That's what you weren't expecting. That's what you weren't expecting.
I mean, there was a lot I wasn't expecting, but that I certainly wasn't expecting.
I mean, the one thing about the show is it doesn't hide what it is, because episode 1, you just like basically everything you've seen in the commercials is like in the first 2 minutes of episode 1, like it's all right at the beginning. And then one thing about the show is it doesn't hide, because it only took them 7 minutes for them to have the first sex scene. Right? So right off the bat, you know what you're watching. You know like what it's going to be, right?
Okay, we'll be right back after this with some final thoughts.
You're listening to Unscripted.
Hey everyone, Skip here. I'm really excited to invite all of you to follow my new account at Skip Cooks on Instagram and TikTok. I'll be sharing my love of cooking with recipes in the form of 1-minute music videos, all set to some of my favorite songs. Don't miss out, follow me, and let's have some fun in the kitchen.
Unscripted with Skip and Josh is available wherever you listen to podcasts. If you listen to the show through Apple Podcasts, please leave a review. To interact with the show, send an email to skipandjoshshow@gmail.com. Follow the show on Twitter and go to Facebook to like the show page. And now, some final thoughts from the guys.
Okay, did you know that there's a remake of the movie Youngblood?
No, come on.
Yes. So, and the only reason I found out about this, and I think it's at the theater, or it's going to be at the theater, if you use the Score app, which I know you do, there's always ads on the Score app. I never tap on them, but one of them is the movie Youngblood. And so I actually tapped on it, and it's basically the same movie, except the main character, it's not Rob Lowe. It's a black hockey player. So he's got all these issues because he's the only black hockey player. So, I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so it's not exactly the same as the old Youngblood, but that was one of my favorite movies of all time.
So if they come out with this, it's exactly the right time, because like a hockey movie that's going to appeal to young people, like I think it's like it'll get popular. It will be popular,
So anyway, I might go see that, or I might wait till it's on streaming, because usually it only takes a few weeks.
Let's be clear. The original Youngblood movie is not really a good movie, but
I loved it.
It was, we were 15, 16 when it came out, and it was about hockey, and Rob Lowe was like popular, and like it was the kind of movie that appealed to us when we were that age, Yeah.
Right. Plus I loved his girlfriend in the movie, Cynthia Gibb. Yeah,
she was amazing. So, the NBA All-Star game?
Oh yeah, I heard about it. I didn't watch it. I know that it was, it was probably the best NBA All-Star game in the last 15 years, which isn't saying anything because they've all sucked. But At least they actually tried.
At least they tried. So I didn't watch 1 second of the game, 0. And I watched the end of the 3-point shooting contest by accident because I was flipping the channels. It was on in the afternoon because the NBC had the All-Star game and then the Olympics was on. So like, I don't know, somehow the all that NBA All-Star festivities was on in the afternoon. What bugged me about, I just said it.
Oh, great.
What bugged me about the NBA All-Star game like festivities is you had this guy, Keyshawn Johnson, won the slam dunk contest.
The former Dallas Cowboy?
Keyshawn knows, it's just the D at the end. And this guy he plays 6 minutes per game in the season. Like he's a nobody. And all the other guys that were in the slam dunk competition are also nobodies. So like, I don't know why they bother with this thing.
Well, the last 3 years, the winner of the slam dunk doesn't even play in the NBA.
Yeah, Matt McClung. Like he usually signed a 10-day contract right before the All-Star game just so he could be in the dunk contest.
Right.
He decided not to do it this year. And then the other weird thing is, so Damian Lillard won the 3-point shooting contest, which you might say, oh, okay, yeah, Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard hasn't played a minute in the NBA this year. 0. So
I knew he was injured. I didn't know how few minutes he played, but I knew that he was injured. So apparently he's healthy enough to shoot 3-pointers.
Apparently. So like, I just don't get that. Like So like I just don't get it. Like I still think the 3-point shootout was really good because I saw like half of it and I enjoyed it. And I think it was dramatic because you had Lillard, you had Con Knipple from Duke who's on Charlotte now. He was almost at the end, and it was good. It showcases their skill and there's a bit of drama and it was good. But like the dunk contest is just useless.
The dunk contest is a waste of time. And the other thing that's a waste of time is anytime you watch SportsCenter or Sportsnet Central or whatever sports show you watch at the end of the night, when they show you highlights, they show you these supposedly amazing slam dunks. But let me tell you something. Every single NBA game has a dozen slam dunks. It's not a big deal. It's just a regular 2-point basket. I don't care about a slam dunk anymore. I haven't cared about a slam dunk in about 20 years.
Since Dr. J. Or since Michael Jordan. Yeah, I agree. There's too many of them, and I don't know why those are the focus of the highlight packages, right?
I don't know why either.
Yeah, I don't know either. So I'm glad we got to do Heated Rivalry today. Long awaited. Finally, we got to talk about it. I was dying to talk about it. I never took such good notes. I'm so proud of myself. And I'll talk to you next time.
Have a great week.